load up?
You fine.
Okay.
Sorry. All right, welcome everyone to Hearts with Nate Frazier. Here on this Saturday, hot blazing afternoon.
Yes.
I tell you, 93 degrees today. I'm so excited today because I have with me the CEO of Survivor Speak, Trisha Duckworth. So happy to have her. Always my sis, and my other sis over here. I call her Angela Davis, but her name is Valerie Bonner, aka host of the Black Coffee No Sugar, No Cream
Yes.
radio show.
Yes.
So we're gonna have a real conversation. I'm waiting for some of y'all to get tuned in. I know a lot of y'all been excited to hear about what we're gonna talk about, but y'all already know on Heart to Hearts, we're gonna have a real conversation. We're gonna talk about some real stuff today, Trisha and Valerie, that need to be talked about. And I know I'm supposed to do my sponsor ships this week, but everybody has not got back with me with your scripts or anything, so we're just going to go in next week, take care of your business, handle your business, and I'll handle my business on this end. All right, so we can get things moving. But once again, this is our second week here in our new little spot that I appreciate. But I have to give a shout out to Attorney Bill Amadea from Ann Arbor, who gave Heart to Hearts this spot. So this is our home, and we're doing any and everything that we can to make it more comfortable and make it our home. I wish y'all could see our little board up here that we got Black Lives Matter. A lot of our leaders, we're gonna get a lot more people up here, so I'm excited. But let's start off with this. Let's start off talking about the protest. And the reason why I want to talk about the protest, because a lot of people always talk about, you shouldn't protest, and I don't know what you're protesting for and marching. It doesn't make any sense. So why are you going to do that? A lot of people said a lot of things when Trisha started the protest, okay? And not realizing through that movement what has happened and what have transpired after that movement. So I'm gonna ask you, Trisha, why do you protest, and what do you look to get out of protesting?
Well, first of all, I think people need to understand what protesting is. It's not just about marching. We've done email protests. When you show up at a city council meeting with 500 people deep, that's a protest. When you show up to the commissioners meeting, even if you're sitting there silently and waiting for the public comments, that's a protest. Protesting just means that we do not like business as usual, we do not like the way that things are going, and that we need to see some change.
Right.
But what happens is people look at it as, oh, we march, and then that's it, and we go home. It's way bigger than that. It's strategizing. It's so much more than just marching in the streets. But we understand that when you stay in the face of those that are in power, and when you rise up and speak truth to power, especially collectively, you will see change.
Yes.
And we believe that we've seen some slight changes because our dear sister's home, but we're staying the course until we see the change that Washington County needs to have here for us.
Right. So like I said, a lot of people talk about the protests, oh, here we go again, but not realizing not only are you protesting, but you're working behind the scenes. Working on getting laws changed, am I correct?
Yes. We have met with legislators. We've met with 3 legislators so far. We're talking about doing things on the federal level, state level, and in the local level as well. So it's so much more than just marching. We really have to get that in our heads. Like, it's an entire movement where we will not go away until we see change.
Excellent. And Valerie, how do you feel about, protests? Because I saw you out, I saw you out there a lot. Okay, very supportive, out there. You even emceed quite a few of them. Okay, and I saw you yesterday, had your nice, African heritage hook up on representing. That's why I told y'all this is Angela Davis. Right now. I ain't playing with y'all. And I get excited because I have, I do want our viewers to know I have two powerful women, black women, that's willing to stand. And my question to you, Valerie, is when it comes to black women, I think that we need more women like you and Trichet to get up front. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people be like, oh, the women should always stay behind and, stay in her place. But we need strong women like you two that's willing to step to the forefront and get in the trenches and speak truth and do what you have to do. And when we talk about movement, what do you want out of movement? What do you want out of this movement that you've been a part of?
Well, first of all, I must say, I was one of the ones that said, I don't get this protesting stuff.
Okay.
Without additional action afterwards, right? So I'm about the whole process. You can stand out there for a day or two or whatever, but then what after? Because see, I don't play chess, I play checkers.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't play checkers, I play chess.
Okay.
And so anytime I sit at a table, I know how everyone moves and I'm gonna move for my win.
Gotcha.
But I refuse to do two things: to say that people who are uncomfortable with black people should step out of that comfort zone, and then for me to be comfortable being a strategizer and not a marcher, but not step out.
Okay.
So this is my first time.
Wow.
Protesting.
So this is your very first
This
time?
is my very first time protesting.
In all your years?
In all my
through
years.
all the movements?
And I'll tell you what,
wow.
I'm going back into my comfort zone.
Okay.
Because I know now that is not for me.
Okay.
But I'm not going to let my sister, so that's the second part. I have my sister's back.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So if anybody else asked me to protest, it wouldn't have just been a regular. No, like, hell no. I ain't protesting because I don't do that. Right?
Gotcha.
And I was shocked.
Okay.
Because I know her strong stance, but been there every step of the way.
Yes,
she asked me to MC, and I'm like, all right, I can do that, but I felt spirit-led. Once I felt the energy of the people and saw how the movement was working, I got out there and, of course, re-injured myself. But even despite having a foot injury, I'm just not a marcher. I'm going to put it on the floor.
Gotcha.
I'm not. I know my area of the vineyard where I reap the most harvest.
Gotcha.
It is not marching.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
But I'm going to stand by my sister still. But when she talks about meeting with the lawmakers and meeting with other people, that's my area.
Okay.
That's how I move, and that's how I move best.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
As far as strong black women, I think that a lot of women, you have to know who you are as a woman before you can take a stand on anything.
That's right.
And so if you don't know who you are and you're still trying to figure out who you are as an individual, it's going to be hard for you to take a stand on something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? Because I searched deeply before I went out with Shay, and I told her, I said, I don't know what type of activist I really am, because I don't know a cause that I'm willing to die for.
Gotcha.
Only a person.
Okay.
I give my life for my little nephew, LJ.
Okay.
Right, I love that little guy. I die for him this very instant so that he can move on with his life.
Right.
He's only 7.
Okay.
But to take a bullet for Black Lives Matter, I'm not willing to do that.
Okay. And that's real.
I'm not willing to do that.
I got
So, and I'm going to shoot back when they try to shoot, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I ain't going to take one laying down for the team for this. So, and those are my core values.
Okay.
Nobody has to like them, understand them, or agree with them. Just respect how I want to be a part of the movement. And that's where we mess up too. People don't want to respect how she wants to move in this movement. They're being very critical. And that's why I say have one fist in the air while we protesting, but the other hand is down to knock the hell out of the people who trying to knock the hell out of you when you're doing this on their behalf.
Yes. And you're so right. And that's what's been wrong with us as a people. And it goes back to, as they call the trauma that we face, and you have to go back to the root of the problem, 400 years ago and what was done to us, and let the house nigga tell on the yard nigga, the dark-skinned one put down the light-skinned ones, the Willie Lynch law. And now we're in an era in our life that we have to get past that.
Yeah.
And we have to grow from that. And the movement, I looked at it and I'm like, wow, it's powerful. And, I've been praying and God has been giving me some words to just, give to my sister over here, because to much is given, much is required. And God has put her in a place in her life that she didn't ask to be, but he chose her because he knew she was qualified and that she could get the job done. Now, is it easy? No. And it's sad when, like you just said, it's your own people that's coming against you that you're working for on their behalf. So we have to get better as a people and rally together and not look at somebody's ideas or somebody's vision, and then you want to take from that vision and start your own thing over here, and this person start their own thing over here, and then you got this you understand what I'm saying? Instead of saying, you know what, I see where this is going, I see where we can do, brutality has been going on for ages, and we know that, with the police. And my son said, Dad, you heard what happened to Tina? I said, no. Look at this video. I looked at the video. I said, what? Are you, when did this happen? Because it was so funny, because that day, me and Tina, she was over at my sister's house because, we all family and we picnic together, Christmas, whatever. We were talking about police brutality. So when I saw that, it shocked my mind. I immediately called Clayton maybe about 4 in the morning. And I texted him and called him and said, look at this. He looked at it. He said what he said. And I remember calling Trishay. Trishay had no idea. And she wasn't playing. Trishay was like, oh, no, you got to be kidding. She was like, I'm getting ready to, you know what, at 1 o'clock, I'll be there. Next thing I know, she said, a matter of fact, I'm going now. So next thing I know, in a couple of hours, it was a movement. And from since on, it's been going. But Trishay, I want to ask you in regards of Washtenaw County Sheriff Department. I want to ask you in regards of the sheriff. How do you feel that this whole ordeal has been handled?
Inappropriately.
Okay.
Very inappropriately, because with all due respect to Sheriff Clayton, and this is nothing personal, sir, this is just, it is what it is, because we know you're watching. But it was handled very inappropriately. And for Sheriff Clayton, as a man who has daughters, to watch a woman be brutalized the way that she did, and then he'd get up and make excuses and call it a mistake and saying all these different things, I just thought it was absolutely despicable.
Okay.
Because this whole narrative about, oh, she bit him, whatever, okay, whatever, because she was unlawfully detained, meaning that he was a man. He had no business picking her up, spinning her around, treating her like she was a rag doll. All of that happened before what this alleged bite.
Okay.
So what do we do when you unlawfully detain me? And this is something that we see nationwide, where the police will say, stop recording me, and then you don't stop, and then they say, all right, you're under arrest. Under arrest for what?
Right.
Resisting.
Or resisting arrest.
And when did resisting become me not doing what the hell you asked me to do?
Right.
I thought resisting was something far more than that. So just because I'm not moving in the way that you want me to move,
they call it resisting.
I'm resisting.
And then you don't know that person's level of comprehension. You don't know what if they're hard of hearing. It's so many things that come into play, but it's all rooted and grounded in white supremacy and racism and police that think that they are superior over human beings. And I say this all the time. Take that badge off. Take that suit off. Peel that skin back. We all look alike.
That's right.
If I poke you, well, I ain't going to do that because then you'd be arresting me too. But if I poke them, they'll bleed just like we do.
Right.
So where does this superiority complex come in at? You are a public servant. And I think that they really don't understand what that means. Public servant means you work for me. because I am a part of the public. Now, of course, they have their policies and everything that they have to abide by, and that needs to be looked at too. Because obviously, if you have so many policies in place that you cannot stand on the side of right, and that's all we ask Sheriff Clayton to do, stand on the side of right. Come out and denounce this behavior, and we will back you.
I read in them live yesterday that Clayton stated, now these were his comments, that in order to restrain someone, I guess maybe have been violent, punching is one of the things that they can do. Now that's what he said in the M Live report that I read. So this is my thing. We hear, we're gonna keep talking about this. We hear the police officer saying in the video, she's biting me, but you couldn't see it. You could not see that at all. When I did the interview with Shatina, I asked her, I said, did you bite him? She said, yes, after the third punch.
Thank you.
Is when I bit him.
But see, in my mind, how did your wrist get by her mouth?
Thank you. That means you was around my
body
neck.
slammer.
That's right.
You know, so let's be serious here.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
How
That's
the
right.
hell did your wrist get by my damn mouth?
Right.
Because you trying to body slam me.
Exactly.
Which
and I
he
would have
did.
bit you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because if you have, first of all, it's called personal space.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes into my personal space, it is an automatic by nature fight or flight. It ain't even about police. It's about this person is violating me, and I need to defend myself.
Right.
That element is being missed in all of this, and I just think that is so horrible.
Well, things are getting done, in my mind, inappropriately. First of all, I don't agree with how it works, but you should know what you're under arrest for.
Mm-hmm.
Read your Miranda rights. And
Which she wasn't.
And none of
Right.
that happened.
No, I don't
Okay.
think she was.
So, you know, we can start at that point.
Right.
Okay.
You know, of course she resisted because she don't know why you putting your hands all
Thank
over
you.
her. She doesn't know why you're trying to detain her. You haven't read her any rights, so no, we couldn't hear him saying she bit me, but I didn't hear his ass saying the Miranda rights.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
He wasn't saying any of that.
Right, right. And then what makes it so bad too is the fact that I watched the press conference, and I know the attorney, Bill Amadea, said he was so disappointed in how Clayton came across because he showed no remorse
At all.
in regards for Tina, but it was all about his officer being bitten.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, what, a 6'4", 260-pound barley white man, probably corn-fed, you know, just a big guy, you know, beating on this young black woman. And my question to the both of you, as I said before, let's turn that whole scenario around. Let it be 5 black police officers coming up in the white hood, okay? And they felt that the white people were getting out of order, wasn't following protocol, so one of the black men goes over there and picks up the little white woman, all right, pick her up, bring her over a couple of feet, and just start beating the little white woman upside her head.
He would have been arrested that night. He would have been arrested that night. He would have had charges that night. It would have been a whirlwind of news media to come out against this despicable officer that did these horrific acts against this white woman. But we see
regardless of what. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it happened.
Privilege.
And that's what's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, and they would have asked questions later.
Yeah.
If the person would have been even alive enough to,
Yeah.
you know, to say anything.
That would not happen. That would not have happened. And that's what I'm saying. We have a lot of these people that are in high places. We have a lot of black leaders that are in high places. And we expect them. It ain't about saving us. It's about just standing up what's right for us.
That's right. That's right.
That's what it's about. Okay, we out of order, but when you see something that's wrong and you know it's wrong,
And you won't say
but
it.
because you are owned by maybe the police union,
The union, that's exactly what it is.
or you're owned by this and you got this people supporting you, that's why when we get to talking about the the protests against the Washington County prosecutors, that's why prosecutors have to stop being bought by policemen.
Yeah.
Prosecutors have to stop being endorsed by policemen. Because what you're saying is that I got y'all back, whether you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
I feel I'm not down with the whole defund the police. I do believe that they do have a role.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
In the community, and they need to be paid to do so, but not the militant taxes. They don't need army tanks,
Military weapons,
and
right.
all of that stuff.
Right.
But we do need them. However, I do believe that police should have to have their own insurance.
That's right.
Like an accountant or like a doctor has malpractice insurance, and that they should have that. And then, you know, what happens when your insurance company have to pay out on something? You become almost uninsurable.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So they should be unemployable. And it should be levied against their own assets.
That's
they
right.
can beat the shit out of somebody, and then the taxpayers have to pay for it.
That's right.
Not if you have your own insurance.
That's
and
right.
it is treated like a liability insurance, a professional liability insurance.
That's right.
And then you have to pay a higher rate to be reinsured because you've had this incident happen, or you become uninsurable. They'll start keeping their hands to themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think about trying to get a law passed like that?
I believe that anything is possible when the people stand up and rise up and do what they need to do.
Because we're the people.
We the people, we have the real power, we just don't use it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to go back and talk about the unions.
Okay.
Because I don't know if everybody's seen this case, I'm sure they did. Down in Detroit, that man beat that mentally ill woman that spit on him.
I remember that.
Beat her like she stole something. Horribly bad. Chief Craig stepped up, fired him. The union brought him back. And the Joker got a promotion.
Wow.
The power of the union. That's where we need to start. We need to decrease the power of these unions in cases where there's misconduct, in cases where there's police brutality, and in cases where there is an actual murder of a victim. Because at the end of the day, if the union has the power to keep these people, then there's no accountability.
That's right.
There's no accountability. And it's even like with the sheriff. We are in election season. The sheriff can't come out and say anything that is contrary to what the union represents and stands for. If he does, he loses votes. But what he doesn't understand is if he don't do what we say, he's going to lose votes too. And he blatantly told me, well, y'all go ahead then. And because if I get out of office, then you're going to get something else. I said that you might not like. I said, you're right. We could. Or we could get somebody that'll stand on your shoulders. And it'll stand on the side of right and take this a little further along than what you have. So the arrogance of him to say that, oh, well, I'm the savior. Sir, we don't see you as an ally. You might be a really nice man, but to most of us, you look like somebody that was put in office to keep us under control and to further oppress us. We don't see you as an ally. Especially now, since you will not denounce the horrific behavior by your officers.
All right. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, when I hear someone speak on the voting process, it saddens me because they know black people don't vote the way that we should and come out of the numbers that we should. So what I heard in translation is like, well, hey, these white people got me here. I'm going to do what they want me to do because they're the ones that put me here.
Right.
Not even given the confidence that maybe if you stand, and I don't know this guy, I ain't never seen him or whatever, but this is just how I feel.
Right.
If you would have erred on the right of what's right, not really on Shatina's side or anyone else's side, that would have gained your confidence in black voters.
Sure would have.
We come out when we want to.
That's right.
You know, and just like we're standing for these protests, we could have got behind you and said, let's support this brother because he's doing what's right. And the people who don't normally vote, we could get them to come out to vote.
And we would have done that.
And we would have done that.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, I don't vote in Washington County, so I appreciate the opportunity to give my opinion, but my vote is my voice, and I can't vote in Washington County. I live in Wayne County. But if I did, I'm certain I wouldn't cast a vote in favor of him. Not from what I've seen and what I've known. It has nothing to do with what she's saying. It has a lot to do with what Mr. Jim Anderson told me also.
Okay.
That veteran, he's 80 years old now.
Okay.
But back in 2009, he was harassed by a Washtenaw County Sheriff and a conservation officer, he said.
Mm-hmm.
And it triggered his PTSD from being a veteran. So he wouldn't talk.
Wow.
And so they handcuffed him. He still wouldn't talk. They threw him in the ditch. He still wouldn't talk, and they stripped him down naked.
The Washtenaw County Sheriff?
Yes. Yes.
And
In
this
209?
80-year-old man,
Yes.
it was
Wow.
04 or 09. He will come and tell you his
You need to get a story with him. He's been at the protest with us, but it is horrible.
And he
I
said
definitely
that
get in touch
Sheriff
with him.
Clayton dismissed it. He said the next day he asked for the video footage and stuff, and he said Clayton just act like
they got rid of the footage.
And when he got the footage, it wasn't none of the footage that showed what he was saying.
What he went through.
And he said, I understand how a woman feels now to be raped.
Wow. And this is an 80-year-old man.
He's 80 years old now.
I seen him back in, might have been 2015 or 2016, at a town hall for police. I'm sick of these town halls too. We gotta stop talking about it and be about it. But I seen him at this town hall. And when it came time for the public comments, Mr. Anderson got up. When I heard him speak, and I'm tearing up now, because to think of how he was violated, and then to watch Jerry Clayton and those panel of police officers totally dismiss him in that moment, it's like you're re-traumatizing the victim all over again. It was the sickest thing I ever seen. And I had talked to Valerie about it. I didn't even know that she was in a circle with
Okay, so you
Mr.
know.
Anderson.
Okay.
And so I was telling her, I said, Valerie, man, we would love to have him up there to speak. Just so happened, he had came over there to Valerie's friend's house, and we were able to connect with him, and he was able to join us. It is going to take all of these stories, because what happens is they hide stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, they have kids. See, what happened to Shatina? This would have been hidden too if a community member would
Had
not
the
have
videotaped.
videotaped it. But speaking of Shatina, because she just messaged,
Okay.
and she said, which is what she told me is too as well, that she doesn't remember how it happened because it happened so fast,
Okay.
and that it says that he said I bit him. So I probably did, because that's what my mama taught me, to defend myself. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to make sure that we clear that up, because we definitely don't want to make any trouble for our sister. But she just didn't remember all the logistics behind it, and how could you?
Right. Well, I know what we saw on the video.
Right.
I definitely know what we saw on the video. All right.
I have a person
Go ahead.
on my live that says, you need to understand the union and why we have them. That's another case of everybody doesn't have to agree.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right? We understand what the
We
union
understand what the
is
union
for
means. I've been
and
a part
what
of a
they
union.
do.
Yeah.
We just don't agree with
Thank
everything.
you.
Right.
You know,
right.
and everything is not right about it. I have tons of stories of how they treated my husband. You know,
Okay.
he was good while he was paying into it, and then when he got old, it was clauses in the contract where he couldn't get certain benefits from Ford Motor Company because he was receiving
That's right.
other monetary
Got you.
things. So
Okay.
that's off the beaten path. I digress about it, but I just wanted to address that. We understand what a union is
Oh, yeah,
and what
definitely,
they do.
definitely.
Just everybody don't agree
Yeah.
with it, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't agree with
I
it.
mean, and I understand unions are good in its own spot, but like you said,
For certain things,
for certain
collective
things.
bargaining,
Yeah.
but everything they do is not
not
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like work for the 99, but what about that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one can
Yeah.
easily get left out because it's not a part of
And,
the
you,
99.
and unions, like anybody else, they'll sell you out too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
they
mean,
negotiate,
yeah,
and they'll write
negotiate,
them
yeah.
grievances.
I done
well.
been sold out by a union when I was
Right.
working at AT&T,
Gotcha.
and I got sick. They encouraged me to quit.
Okay.
You supposed to be a union having my back.
Right.
So unions do not always work. And if they do, like she said, we just want to see that their power be relinquished in that area.
Right.
When it comes to misconduct and blatant
Yeah.
brutality and someone being murdered, especially with camera evidence,
Right.
they need to take their hands off and let the investigation go forward.
Because it's almost like you get to do wrong and you know your union gonna bring me back. I can come on the line
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
because I know my steward gonna bring me
Yeah.
back. You know, and it's just like bargaining.
Mhm.
That's why it's called bargaining. I'm
Right.
gonna give something to get something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it shouldn't be off the backs of another human being life.
Exactly. When you talk about the blue code,
Huh.
I remember talking about that when I did that police reform and bridging the gap, and I asked the police officers about the blue code, and of course, we don't know nothing about no blue code. If somebody do something wrong, we're gonna talk about it. But even in this incident with Tina, you see how strong the blue code is, and how strong that they do stick together.
Yeah.
You know, and that right there alone has got to be, it has got to be broken. And this is my thing. When you get in this, and I look at, like I said, we have leaders in high places and things like that. You have leaders that, are in a position to do what's right. That's all we ask.
Mhm.
We're not asking you to do what's wrong. We're asking you to do what's right.
That's right.
And if you know that justice needs to be done, you should be the first one to say, hey, this right here, this was foul. So I can't go up here and do a conference and, make all these excuses why you did what you did.
That's right.
And try to justify what you did was right.
That's right.
Mhm.
We as leaders, Black African American leaders, we have to stop, because if you're up there in that place, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we
to
don't
me,
know
it's
how to agree to disagree.
okay.
And people have to learn how to agree to disagree.
That's
Yeah.
right.
In whatever regard, whether it's unions, whether it's police brutality, whether it's militancy, whatever it is, agree to disagree and respect other people's differences.
And you know what? And I agree with that. We don't know how to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Just because, like Clayton, I'm not saying he's this horrible guy.
No.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I see a lot of good in the man, but I don't agree with how you handled it. I don't agree with your press conference. I'm not saying you're a low-down, rotten, good-for-nothing scumbucket. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm
Mhm.
just saying what you did ain't right.
Yeah, we just speaking on
Yeah.
this point in time. Because again, I don't know anything about it.
not attack, personal attack on him.
Because we don't know him personally.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm just talking about when you see people justifying wrong, it's a problem. I don't care who it is. It's a problem. And we have to get out of that. But the protest that was that Friday that we did against the prosecutor?
Wednesday.
You see,
She did so many. She
I
like,
know. Huh?
wait a minute.
She had the thing too. Okay, against the prosecutor's office of Washington County. You done had some experience. We done seen some experiences that have taken place with the Washington County Prosecutor's Office still to this day. The VC brothers, that's one of them, are doing natural life in prison. Evidence show that they were innocent, but still they got convicted. I don't know what happened to the young boy that they was trying to give 20 to 30 years. I don't know how that turned out.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah,
The day we was
did not
protesting.
I did not get the feedback from that because this has been a whirlwind since we ran through with that protester. But we got to check that out and see what happened.
What do you see? What do you see? You out here in this community, you've been working, and there's a lot of things over the years you have seen. What do you see that's foul in the Washington County Prosecutor's Office?
I see a consistent pattern of misconduct.
Okay.
I see a consistent pattern of, let me give you the example. So when we first went to the sheriff's office, met with Derek Jackson about the VZ case.
Okay.
They turned around and called the officer who we were reporting on.
Okay.
That made no sense to me because if we whistleblowing saying that your officer did something wrong, why would you call him? Okay, maybe that was an honest mistake or they was just trying to pull him into the thing, I don't know. But he operated in clear misconduct. Prosecutor's office, go to them. We seen them at a meeting actually, Clayton and Mackie. I go to him, pull him to the side. Yeah, just, I want to talk to you about this. Instantly when I said the name, he looked. He handed me a card with his personal email address.
Okay.
Now this work-related stuff, why is not that where you giving me the information to go to? Starts emailing me back and forth. Oh, well, who? Do they have a lawyer? Are they with the Innocence Project? Just trying to get a feel for where they at. I said, sir, they don't need the Innocence Project. You the Innocence Project. You know they innocent? Let them out. Then he kept coming to my, well, the appeal court said this. The appeal court said that. So now fast forward to this instant, we do an email protest. Make him a part of it, asking Dana Nessel to take the case out of his hands because we feel he is incapable of governing fairly. We feel that in the last 28 years, more of our black and brown brothers and sisters have been unwarrantedly put in prison due to this man's lynching, modern day lynching. So, he responds back to me. He says, I know you think the VZs are innocent. Whoa, stay on topic. We contacted you about Shatina Grady. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
We already know you.
Girl, I thought you was 10 years ago. You talking about right now?
I'm talking about when we did the email protest now.
And he went back?
He talking about, I know you think the VZs are innocent, but whoa.
And you weren't even talking about that.
We sent the email about Shatina Grady Hill. Stay on topic, sir. Stay on topic. So the fact that he brought it up allows me to know that
it's still on his conscience.
It's still on his conscience.
Gotcha.
Because like I told him in 2015, and I'm going to tell him again, you better let him out. Because if the Innocence Project has let him out, it is going to stain the entire tenure of your career. Ooh. And I told him, put the horse before the carriage.
Right.
Because if we got to ride off into the sunset, you ain't going to like the results of that. Because you got the opportunity to review this case and step up and do what's right, and he chose not to. They're coming home. Shatina Grady Hill gonna see justice.
Right.
But guess what? He gonna be out, and everything that he stood for 28 years will have a cloud over it.
But that's why that indemnity needs to be removed. You know, when a prosecutor falsifies evidence, doesn't include all the evidence or whatever it is, they're indemnified.
Okay.
You know, if you ruin somebody else's life off of a decision that you made, you need to go to jail too.
Gotcha.
That's too much power. And now we're seeing all of these people become exonerated. You know,
all
because
over the
of
country.
that. All over the country. But no prosecutor is going to jail for that particular thing.
That's right. Prosecutor of misconduct.
That's why. So we met back, was last year, with Jeff Irwin to talk about that piece.
Yeah, it was last year.
Last year. To talk about that. We need, and that's why we the people got to put this in play.
That's right.
We need legislation that removes their immunity. Because they are lawless. How you going to uphold the law when you yourself are lawless?
That's right.
It's an oxymoron. It does not work. And where we're headed as a people, we do not need that at all. So we need some laws put on the books for prosecutorial misconduct. If you operate in it, not only will you be removed from office, but you going to prison with all those people that you put in there.
Exactly.
And don't put them in solitary confinement.
That's right.
Let them, you know,
Be
just like,
public.
that's right. Let the cop who kneed on George Floyd's neck, he doesn't need it to be in solitary confinement.
Yes.
Or anything like that. You like kneeling on necks, it's about 1,000, 2,000 necks.
That's right.
You can lean for 8 minutes, kneel for 8 minutes and 46 seconds every day on the neck.
Yeah, that right there was one of the most despicable things I've ever seen in my life. That really was. And it sparked the entire world. That man sacrificed his life, gave up his life. Like I said before, I've never seen so many white people with, I'm talking about in racist neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I'm talking about racist counties, racist. Heartland, you know, Howe, KKK. you know,
And we were scared to go out to
Chelsea,
some of them towns.
you know, Chelsea, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. They got signs up, Black Lives
That's
Matter.
right.
I saw this 2 white girls in Chelsea a couple of days, just 2 of them out there, hollering out, Black Lives Matter. You know, yesterday we had the detour, when we left work, it was packed, nothing but white people out there with these signs talking about, got t-shirts on, Black Lives Matter. So it's even messing with their conscience.
Because they
You
see
can't
it.
unsee that.
You cannot unsee it. The whole world was stopped.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
cannot unsee
And
that.
when it happened, you couldn't get caught up with work. You couldn't be so caught up with the kids that you missed it. God had everything paused. And everybody's seeing that horrific atrocity that happened. So once you see it, and I'm going to tell you, when we first started out there with Shatina, I hadn't seen it.
Wow. Oh, so you hadn't seen it?
I hadn't even seen it. It was like, come on, let's go for Shatina Gradiel.
Yeah.
And then as we progressed on, I said, Lord, and I told the whole crowd, I said, Shatina brought us here. But this is so much bigger. It is about the injustice of systemic white supremacy and racism within these policing agencies.
Absolutely.
And then when I watched it, it broke my heart. I just could not believe it. So the voices of our Caucasian brothers and sisters are rising.
Yes.
Because they are tired of seeing something like that. And I think a lot of times people would see it and be like, oh my God, that's horrible, and not know what to do. And so they just didn't act. But now there's righteous indignation that God is rising up in all of us, pulling us together. Because I'm going to tell you something. We cannot end racism and white supremacy as melanated folks.
That's right.
We have to have the voices of our Caucasian brothers and sisters to challenge the ideologies of your families.
That's right.
Of your co-workers, of your boss. You know, and that's how we end this.
Exactly. I definitely agree. With the prosecutor's office, we got 3 candidates. Okay? And
2.
you know, okay. we look at these candidates and things like that. And I tell people that I think this is a very crucial time, especially here in Washington County, for especially young black men. As I said the other day at the rally, this is the time that these black men have got to vote, because for years the court system has, their job has always been to make the black man a felon. That's just what they strive for. And I've seen a lot of black men going with minor offenses, and they'll go back, stuff that they already paid for, pick it back up and pad that evidence, and you know what, turn them into a felon. You know, and it's easy for them to do when they're represented by a public defender.
That's right.
That's another thing. So a lot of them, as I'm saying, they're out here and they're not properly represented. The court system know that. They're not represented. You know, they don't have the money. And they take advantage of that and always have. I've seen this here regularly in the Washington County Courthouse. So my thing, and I'm going to say it again, we need somebody in there that's for change.
That's
not
right.
somebody that's tied to the system.
That's right.
Not somebody under the tutelage of Brian Mackey. Not somebody that I got to be careful. But anyway, we have to be careful when it comes down to who we put in. Okay? Everybody already know who I'm with. I mean, they already know that.
I don't.
Eli 7.
Eli!
What is it?
Eli 7. He might be white, but he all right. That's my dude. And if I could vote in Washington County, I would do that. And I will say this, and we say it often at our marches and rallies. If you don't see your legislator, your mayor, or anyone that's in a political arena out there standing for what you stand for, you need to vote for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You need to vote for somebody
That's
else.
right.
Eli has been there starting 2 years ago. He didn't just show up and say, let me attach myself to these sisters or whatever. He's been around. He's been standing with us. And he'll be the first to admit what he doesn't understand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But he still stands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's important.
And I just feel like whoever it is, do your research.
That's it.
Just because somebody is black doesn't mean anything. Do your research. Are they capable for the position? Can they be fair and impartial? Who's sponsoring them?
Yes.
Because whoever is sponsoring them and contributing to their political campaign, whoever put the highest dollar amount is controlling the
You better
narrative.
say it. You better
So would
say
that
it.
look like Brian Mackey walking Elaine Slay into the office for her to file? Yeah, that's what that looks like to me.
Mhm.
Because if you wanted to separate yourself from him, you should have never
Well, doesn't she
allowed
work there now?
that endorsement. Yes. No, she doesn't?
No,
I
she
thought
works
she
in the
does.
prosecutor's office. She does something else, you know, because she's running for
Does she work
prosecutor.
for Washington County
Yeah,
government?
she still,
Yeah.
yeah. She still
Okay.
works for Washington County, and there's nothing, you know, personal.
Nothing
toward her.
personal.
There's nothing, you know, and that's what I want people to understand. Stop. We can't take stuff personal.
That's right.
When you do as you do, I do as I do. We are people out here about our people, so we can't be sugarcoating. We can't be politicking. You know, we have to give out right information. Not only right information, but we have to let our people be aware
That's
of
right.
what's going on, so they won't get bamboozled.
That's
like
right.
we've been bamboozled all of our lives.
That's right.
So when you have people like such as you two and myself, we're standing up for what's right
That's right.
and justice and things like that. People want to look at us as we being, you know, we tripping and we shouldn't
Well,
say
y'all ain't
this.
down for
And,
the sister.
yeah, you know, and don't say that, and you got to be careful with this, and you got to be careful with that, and don't burn bridges with this person, and you know, don't do this and that. It ain't about that. Either you are for what's right or you're not.
That's right.
Because we don't need more politicians. We got enough of politicians in office.
Yeah.
We need people that's gonna get in office, that's gonna have a heart for the people.
Yeah.
If you're wrong, then you pay the crime.
Yeah.
But if you're wrongly been convicted, then it should be overturned. If evidence is in front of you, okay, I don't care what you did 10 years ago. You already paid that price. You already did the time.
Yeah.
And if you're innocent and evidence showed that's not right for prosecutors to go and look back at history from juvenile, you know, and then, oh, well, back in, you know, when you was 5 years old, you stole the apple from the teacher. So we're going to have to add that to this charge that you're 35 now,
Yeah.
you know, and turn you into a felon. That's the type of system that we don't need. That's the type of system that have been going on. Brian Mackey said, what Bill Amadeus said, oh, I just think that's a slap in the face to the black prosecutors in the office. Like, how is
You got two people in that, or is it one?
Or
or
the
two?
black people in his office.
Yeah,
I
the
did
black
read
people that's
something
in the
about
prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
He said that's a slap. How was that a slap in the face? Because what they doing?
Yeah.
And it's not judgment against anybody, because I know one of them, you know, in there. And I'm not saying every prosecutor in that office is a bad person, because they're not.
Well, let me say
You
this.
got some people in there that's really about what's right. If you right, they gonna help you. If you wrong, then that's their job to prosecute you.
Well, let me say this.
Okay.
A person can only be as righteous as the culture of the environment that they work in.
All right.
Girl.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Pass the offering plate. Pass the offering plate.
Say that again.
A person, no matter how righteous they are, they cannot maintain that if they're in a corrupt, a racist, a tyrant, or whatever type of culture. Example, how many police officers lately, the black woman who stopped someone from kneeling on someone's neck, a white officer, recently, about 2 weeks ago, I read this, and she got him off of that person. They fired her. They fired her.
What?
So you cannot, I don't care how righteous you are, at some point you be like, well, I need my job, I gotta feed my family. You're gonna fold.
True.
Rightfully so.
True.
But you're gonna fold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not many people that will continue to fight and risk it, everything. And you got to take that SWOT analysis. Your strength, your weakness, what's an opportunity and what's a threat. That is not just a cost prohibitive structure for a business.
That's right.
Do it as an individual.
That's right.
Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Where is it a good opportunity and what is a threat?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they gonna fold.
Gotcha.
Any culture that is built off of racism, classism, of any of those oppressive factors, if that is the dominance, there is no way one person who want to do what's right is going to be able to achieve anything in that environment.
Yeah. How can you?
You gonna fold.
How can you?
Because it's worthless. It's like running on a treadmill or a hamster wheel. You're just spinning.
That explains why I've had many people ask me, you don't got that master's degree, why you ain't be, you could go here, you can go anywhere, because God told me I will not work for a secular agency. Now I understand why. Because you got to bow down to the rules of the people that are over you. And I know me, I cannot stand for injustice. Even if I'm the one that committed the act, I'm going to try to make it right. And in these agencies, you got to do what your boss say. And they tell you, even as social workers, they tell you to follow the chain of command if something isn't right. And then if you get nowhere there, then you got to step back, leave that place of employment, contact the media, contact anybody else that will listen. That is what we're supposed to do. We got to start standing for what's right. If we're not going to stand on the side of right, then we will continue to see the perpetuation of this behavior. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because human resources is for the company, not for you.
Exactly.
And people don't know that. I'm going to human resources. Like, whatever.
She was just saying she doesn't remember. We just want to be clear.
Oh, yeah, that she doesn't remember.
Yeah, she doesn't remember all of the accounts. You know what I'm saying? That happened then. Because you know how it is. People hanging on every little word that people say about this case. And so we just got to make sure that we represent her wrong. So if we said that wrong, we are so sorry. I know for a fact, she told me that she does not remember.
Okay.
And so she can't confirm, deny, or do anything as far as that's concerned.
Adrenaline kicked in, a fight or flight response, an adrenaline kicked in, and it remains there, and it probably remains there today. I shout out and salute the sister for even showing up on that property
with us,
because that PTSD has to be real and traumatizing to show back up to a place where you've been victimized.
So she what Tina's saying, you know, she don't remember everything that took place.
Yeah, she doesn't remember everything. So she can't say, oh, I bit him or I didn't. Like, everything happens so fast. And I'll tell you, prime example, somebody drove through our protest the other day.
Right.
And when I was in front of the car, I remember all of that, standing in front. When we got to the side of the car, it was like my adrenaline was rushing. You know what I'm saying? Everything was happening so fast. Before you know it, the lady was over top of the bike and going down the road. So when this high power stuff happens, you don't remember every detail of it, you know? So that's all. We just want to correct that for our sis.
Yeah, so we correct that for you. Sorry about that. We don't, you know, we want to represent you right.
Yeah.
All right.
We have on the live Aaron Salter, our brother Aaron Salter.
Brother Aaron.
15 years.
How you doing, my brother Aaron?
Yeah, we love that brother. We
yes.
Because Aaron came out and hit the ground running.
He really did.
His heart is so humble.
He
After being
humble.
wrongfully convicted, he still came out with love. And the prosecutor who worked on his case, he ran into her after he got out, and she didn't even speak. So he asked her, do you remember who I am? Do you know who I am? Not in an aggressive way.
Got you.
And she said, yeah. And kept it moving. Not an apology, and the prosecutor should have to hold the same damn press conference they have when they convict somebody. Then what's wrong with standing and saying I'm wrong?
That's right.
Because she don't want to admit the fact that she was a liar.
Well,
that's
you need to.
Exactly. Aaron, I got to get you back here because we did that interview, didn't turn out the best. So you come on back.
Yeah.
All right, let's get there. I got to get you
We
back
love
here.
that
That's
brother.
a good
And
guy.
he has a lot to say.
Yes, he
opened up
does.
a home, and he made it, but now he has a home that he calls, what's the name of it?
Auntie Bobby's house, I think.
Yeah, but it's a home that he bought out of his money, refurbished, and now it's a home for exonerees, so they have somewhere to go and to get some of the resources that they need when they get out. And I hope that someone blesses this brother. We have so many homes on the tax roll and in the land bank, right? That they could donate some of these houses to this young man and let this brother keep his movement going. But I salute him. I love that brother, and he know it from the bottom of my heart. You know, when he call us, we try to make it, and when we call him, he makes it.
All right. Congratulations, my brother. Congratulations.
Yeah, we love him.
Congratulations. Before we close, let's talk about the mayor of Ypsilanti, Beth Bashir. Now, she stated that Ypsilanti has no good black leaders.
She said they were
No,
weak.
what she said was, I went to her inbox because I heard she said they was fake.
That's it, fake. That's what she said.
So when I called her out about not stepping up and saying anything about the way that our sister Shatina was brutalized, she inboxed me. And basically she stated, I'm going to read it verbatim because
this is the mayor of Ypsilanti.
We do not want to misquote the mayor. We want to make sure that we have all the information correctly. She says to me, she reached out to me, good evening, Trisha. Did I miss something? You tagged me, which I appreciate. What led to that? I can't find it. I don't engage a lot on social media, but try to keep up. This incident is disturbing on so many levels and hits close to home. So let's say that she did give her secret advocating of against the beating of Shatina, okay? And she says, it is important to me that the community knows that I care deeply.
Okay.
I am taking action, just not on social media at this stage. I say, sorry, just seeing this, it went to my spam folder. The community doesn't feel that you care, but if that's truly in your heart, it seems it will show forth more. She says, thank you. Since I write this question, I have issued a statement on this. Have you seen it? I said, no, I have not. And thank you for standing when many haven't. So many of our leaders have been silent. And then she sent me the whatever she said. Then she said, you can see it here. Share it if you like. So now she want me to put her little.
Get all on your plate.
Yeah, So then she says, so then I said, thank you, Mayor. I guess I've been heard about your comment about black leaders in Ipsy being fake. We must come together. She says, I can imagine that, especially because I never said it. So then I'm like, okay. Then she says, weak is actually the word I used.
Woo.
The person who overheard it misheard and took it out of context. I went on to talk about the need for leadership development in the black community. I said, wow. And she says, she's so arrogant too. She is so arrogant. That's why she got to go. For one thing, the word fake doesn't even make sense, right?
Wow.
So then I say, okay, can we meet and talk via Zoom? Because I want to get her on camera, right?
Yeah.
She says, that would be lovely. You tell me when, yada, yada, yada. But then I go back, because after I started thinking about it, I said, did she just really say weak? Like that was like better
Like
than
that's
fake?
okay or better.
Okay.
I said, even using the word weak is just mind-boggling. I'm shocked. That word is even worse than fake. And then she says, I did not mean to disrespect you. We should talk though. Texting is not enough for this conversation. Makes sense?
So, through that, what do you plan on doing Monday at 4 p.m.?
Monday, we are protesting. We are demanding the resignation of Mayor Beth Bashir, who has since came out and told the news networks, I am racist.
She has.
And I apologize.
She used those words?
Yeah, she said she was racist. I got all these calls. I gotta go back and watch it myself.
Lord,
So let me say that.
have
I am
mercy.
quoting other individuals, community members who called me and told me I did not see it myself.
Okay.
Allegedly per these individuals, she said I am racist. But I'm not going to resign because if I resign, it's not going to give me a chance to make it right. I need to learn. Okay, so let me just tell you. Your learning curve is not going to happen on our watch.
Right.
We do keep our hearts and our minds and our environments open for the conforming of a racist ideology, but you got to sit down and get this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get the lesson, come back to the community in sincerity. Humble yourself. Stop being so arrogant.
Turn from your wicked ways.
Turn from your wicked ways.
Hallelujah.
Then will I hear from heaven. But no, so we're going out Monday at 4 p.m. We're going to be behind in that back lot of Puffer Reds. Puffer Reds is 113, I believe, West Michigan Ave.
Okay.
We will be in that back parking lot. And we will have a few speakers. Not that many, because we've been getting slammed on how many speakers we have.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will march. Let me make this clear. Some people want to march to her home. We are not doing that. Okay? Because
Right.
I won't want nobody coming to my house.
That's right.
I do not agree with that.
Personal
Right.
life should be
No.
separate.
It is separate. And there's too much tension.
That's right.
So you never know what's going to go on over there. So just so that everybody knows,
No, yeah,
if somebody
no.
does march to her house,
That's
that
right.
is not survivor speak.
That's
Because
right.
we will not be marching to her house. We will be marching around that area. And we mean business. And at the end of the day, I want to say this to the council. If you do not come out in full support of what we are doing, then we are coming for your positions as well. We are asking that the council censure her and that we start the process to recall her because we have the backing to do it. So we need the council to step up, which I got word today from
Okay.
Andy Somerville. Andy Somerville dropped it. We had the information back on May the 27th.
Okay.
But we were waiting for the leading of the Holy Spirit on how to put it out there. But when Annie came out with that information, the dumb stuff she said in the council meeting on the 17th, we knew that it was time
Okay.
to go ahead and ask for her resignation.
I don't know where I saw this at, but it was a Zoom meeting.
Yes,
And Nicole Brown
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
said like, wow, being a black woman, it was sort of, and this is my synopsis or paraphrase of it, but it was sort of like, wow, did you just say it? Don't you think you should apologize?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
And she didn't.
She said, well, I guess I have to vote for him since if I don't, I'm going to be called a racist.
Yeah, time to go. Time to go. Get ready, Brian
Beth
Robert
Barbecue,
Foley.
what we gonna call her? What's her name? Beth. So we got Barbecue Becky. We got Central Park Susie. What we gonna call her?
Bootleg Beth, gotta go. Bootleg Beth.
Beth.
This is the Bye Bye Beth movement.
Yeah. Bye bye
Oh my goodness. Now y'all see why I love these two right here, right? It's been very informative. It's been great.
bye. We love you, brother.
We love you
Anytime.
too, bro.
Yes, love you both. Yeah, I mean, I
And
enjoy
thank you.
y'all.
I gotta tell you this. Thank you for keeping. I was just saying how the media is horrible, but I have to take that back because this is media. You bring the information, the current information to the community. You do it unbiased to the point where you get on my damn nerves sometimes. Especially when it was with Sheriff Clayton. I'm like, if you don't call a thing. But let me just say this. The things that are being said about this brother, especially from Sheriff Clayton, are despicable to me. Because this man has had Sheriff Clayton's back to fault, in my opinion. This man brings the information to the community. Y'all better start respecting my brother and his platform because he is here for us and not many people in the media are. So just thank you for everything that you do. I love you. We've been rocking out since, 2006?
Yes.
And so I just want you to know I love you and I appreciate everything you do.
Same to you, my
Well,
sis.
I want to
Thank
say,
you.
for the time that I've known you, I do respect you.
Thank you.
I respect what you stand for. And coming soon to an outlet near you will be Black Coffee and Heart to Heart.
Yes.
And him and I are going to start sitting down and tackling some of these
Oh,
issues
yeah.
together.
Oh my
and hash it out.
goodness!
So get ready,
Yes.
because we're going to bring it.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness!
yes. I'm looking forward
The
to
both of y'all together, oh Lord!
Yes. We're going to need a room bigger than this. This room ain't big enough for
Right.
both of our
Right.
platforms
Right.
and what we have to say. But I do say our goal is the same, but our
Yes.
methodology is different.
Right.
And that's what's going to make this collaboration so powerful
Yes.
and
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yes.
Because he's a lot more laid back, and I don't think I've ever heard him even curse, and you know, I get it in. I don't all the time, but that's my form
Pastor
of
gotta be careful. I
expression.
can't hear you. I said the
Pastor
word.
Nate.
I said the word "damn" on Facebook and got a phone call instantly.
Really?
Yes.
Well, look, I'm a cussing preacher. I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm like Peter. Now, I'm trying to stop cussing, right? But it just is what it is. You
Yeah.
got to learn how to be who you are and be comfortable in that
Yes.
with the commitment to grow better every day.
That's right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank both of you for taking your time in this hot day. Love you all. Thank you for the supporters. Please meet us. Meet us Monday at 4 o'clock in back of Puffer Reds, and we will be there because guess what? We will no longer from here on out tolerate racist
That's
leaders.
right.
Whether it's in the police department, the prosecutor's office, whether it's the mayor, city council, we don't care who you are. We coming for you.
That's right.
And I say we coming. We're the people. Y'all gonna start really working for us the way you should have been doing
That's
a
right.
long time ago.
That's right.
Stop being insubordinate. You work
Yes.
for us.
That's
That's
right.
And
right.
anytime you take a racial stance or whatever, that's insubordination.
Exactly.
And any account of insubordination is dealt with up to and including termination.
Whoa!
Bye-bye.
There it is. Your arrogance, your cockiness, and everything about you is going to be tested now.
Yeah.
So guess what? Come correct. And that's not a warning. It's a promise. Come correct. We're coming.
I just gotta say this real quick.
Okay.
Hillary Nichols, who's watching, by the way, thank you, Hillary. Shout out to you. She did a photo shoot for people of color and put it out on Juneteenth. I'll share so you can
Okay.
see some of the pictures. I mean, it was so much melanated beauty on that. It was amazing. So thank you, Hillary. But Hillary said that there's a long line of black leaders that we must recognize. Angela Davis, Harriet Tubman.
Mm-hmm.
The list is so long. Shirley Chisholm, Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth.
On your wall.
So we are grateful because they are all on the wall. Y'all can't see that. But we are standing on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a new movement. It is a true movement.
Come on now.
And we are staying the course until we get the results.
All right. Last word.
Peace.
Last word.
I don't care if you like, understand, or agree with anything anybody says. You still should respect them.
That's
Oh, I
right.
love that. All right. I'm getting ready to go and
Let's
hit
go.
the camera. All right. Power to the people.
Yes. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for
Thank
tuning
y'all.
in.
Now I'm going to get out of this dress.
Ha.
Oh, man.